think, act, and prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
I'm glad I hold some of those Uranium Participation Corp. I haven't revealed that to the people, but that is one that I invest in.
Nice.
And so you're obviously very bullish on uranium. So what percentage of your portfolio would you say is allocated towards uranium? I've heard some big numbers. I've heard, I think 60%. I've heard quite a bit. I think I'm pretty much a lot in gold stocks and uranium. I have some silver stocks and then a few tech and stuff like that. But uranium's a big portion of my portfolio. I'll probably say about 30-40%. How about you?
For me personally, it's probably about 75%. Yeah. The rest is gold and silver stocks, a little bit of copper, and physical gold and silver. Oh, you know what? I have some cryptocurrency as well too. Maybe it's closer to 70%. It's mostly uranium. I have a bit of diversification, but that's the sector that I know the best. So I feel, even though it's crazy volatile and risky, I feels to me like the safest investment because I know it the best. So
yeah, definitely. It's almost like you're almost like one of those Bitcoin holders when it first came out. Got it for like pennies on the dollar.
So I wonder how many of those guys are still holding it.
Yeah. So hopefully that big payday comes. I'm definitely gonna be buying some more. And obviously this isn't financial advice, but I have been seeing that the call options a couple years out on Denison is pretty cheap. So that's something I've been looking at too. So Justin, I want to thank you for coming on the show. So could you talk a little bit about your newsletter where my audience can find you? Obviously, your background is uraniuminsider.com. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. We have a monthly newsletter that goes out. It's an annual membership, and we put out a really thorough monthly newsletter at the beginning of every month, along with bulletins as needed kind of throughout the month. If there's company news or sector news that's relevant and timely. We share our stock recommendations as well with our members. And we have a small team that's hyper focused on uranium. That's all we do pretty much is live, eat, and breathe this stuff. So we follow the sector very closely, and we focus a lot on the macro setup. So each month we put a lot of time and effort into detailing the macro developments of the previous month. Usually, gosh, it's been exhaustive the past few months just because there's so much news. But our goals really are twofold. One, to keep our members informed of what's going on in a very complicated sector. And two, to provide alpha via our positioning. So we try to beat the market. I think we do a pretty good job of that. We're up about 300% since we started the newsletter in August of 2019 versus URA being up about 80% and the commodity being up not much, 20%, 15 to 20% at this point. So yeah, we do a lot of work on the companies as well. So we look for the companies that we feel are going to provide us and our members with the best risk reward setups, the best returns. And if people are not into doing the work into the companies or buying the newsletter, I think that your recommendation for UPC is a good one. I think it's a very safe way to play the thesis of the commodity rising, especially in light of Sprott coming into the space and managing it. I think that's going to attract a lot of investor attention. The junior miners oftentimes have more leverage, but a lot more risk. So you avoid largely that individual company risk through something like UPC or Yellow Cake, which is a London stock, or the ETFs. URNM is a great ETF, and it's huge. It's grown. I think they're at 300 million assets under management. They started at 3 a year ago. So they're really a lot of funds are coming into these ETFs, and they're 100% uranium, whereas URA is only 70% allocated to uranium. So that's a good ETF as well. But yeah, Your audience, feel free to reach out to me through the website, uraniuminsider.com. Be happy to answer any questions they might have and about the newsletter or the sector in general. And I'm pretty active on Twitter too, just at Uranium Insider.